What's up, you guys? Julian here. Today I'm going to show you how to do this RADA Payme style sort of modern house music. You can get the template at the top of the description, so definitely grab that and let's get started. We're at 147 BPM. First thing we got up here is our drums. So these are all actually just pretty basic, trap drum sounds. It's literally like the trap rack kick, right? Same hi-hat, same, even the open hi-hat, right? That's like obviously an 808 snare, but they're all being saturated together. Right, so that makes the sound. And also with these, obviously you hear like that rack kick usually is a pretty soft kick, honestly. Like if you listen to like a lot of 909s or like hard techno kicks, it's obviously not the hardest one. But then if you put this on, it really goes a long way. Plus you're getting that saturation between the kick and the snare that you hear in that original track. Whereas when I turn that off, see, you hear the kick and the snare together. It's not about that, but what happens is they kind of glue together with the saturation. So yeah, and for me, the Ableton saturator, it's all about the medium curve or the hard curve setting. That's like all I touch pretty much, unless I want to use the wave shaper for some weird stuff. But like, the thing is for me, it's like the medium curve is like, it starts out a little bit, like it adds a bit of saturation even on 0, and then you can push it. And then if you want to go past that, then you just start doing this one. Right, and then you could really do that. But in this case, I wanted it to be kind of closer to that original track, so I got like that. Then we got our bass line. So yeah, it's a pretty simple kind of classic deep house sort of thing, right? Obviously very like Robin S. Show Me Love influenced. It's the key to that. There's 3 voices that are used in all of those tracks. It's the root note, right? So we're in D sharp minor. It's the root, the 5th, and the 6th. That's that sort of like resolution there is when it goes down from the 5th. You go from that minor chord to another minor chord, so it feels kind of dark. And then you hit the major and it gives you this like really strong resolution there. And then up here, yeah, we're just going up to another 5th up there. So even that is kind of like you're getting this kind of melancholy because it's like a major 7th kind of thing happening. And also, this is me breaking this down as well. As I'm saying this to you, like I could tell you all of this stuff that is happening there, like that major 7 kind of thing with the G sharp and the G and all that, or with the A and the G sharp. But at the end of the day, like I think a lot of this happens more on instinct. Like I don't think when they're making this track, they're sitting there going, oh, like, yeah, we're going to add melancholy because it's going to be a major 7th. Not that they can't necessarily do that, or not that you shouldn't learn how to do that, but it's just kind of like, I think it comes more from like just learning how to really feel those things. And then when you're just on a MIDI keyboard playing something and you just need to make a quick beat, that just comes out, right? So I think it's like, that's what it is on the explanation level, but I think it's very important in tutorials. Like, just because I explain it like that, it doesn't necessarily mean that's how they're thinking about it. I think a lot of this, from my experience making music in the studio and making music with people, a lot of this is stuff you kind of just sort of figure out and you know what it feels like, and it's a thing you can always go back to, but it's not necessarily this like very, it's more of a feeling. You have to have like your heart in it. So as far as the sound goes, we got this operator sub bass. Classic, really simple, just a square wave. Low pass filter with an envelope on it, just like really plucky. And I sidechain into the kick too. And then we've got this organ. Yeah, pretty much, it's the same MIDI. It's really simple. It's just this vintage Korg M1 sample. The reverb is really important. I think it gives a nice atmosphere to this. And a lot of people say don't put reverb on your basses. I mean, yeah, don't put reverb on the sub bass, but I think in this case, it has a lot of really cool kind of deep house atmosphere. Also, you'll notice this has that lower tone in there. And I literally just got rid of that because that's what the sub is doing. Like, even if I tried to bring the high pass sound lower, see, it's just, you kind of just want to let the sub do that, right? So then we got our pad, and that's also 2 layers. It sounds like this. Right, so again, we're getting a lot of these same kind of movements here with these semitones. Right? Like, it's all these melancholic movements within this scale, right? Now, this might not even necessarily be exactly following the bass line. Right? Like, you can see that this is actually playing this F sharp major chord. And that's another very jazzy thing too, right? And like a deep house by way of jazz, right? Is like just maybe you have a bass line that's kind of holding everything down with your drums really well. And then yeah, those pads don't have to just follow it. That would be a bit boring. You could also just have them be something else that's in that key that's gonna work. And so that's what I've done there. Now, for this sound, we've got operator, and then we have a granulator. For the operator layer, it's pretty simple. I'll just show you what it sounds like with no processing. Yeah, so it's actually quite different without all the reverb and stuff. But you can see we're basically just creating this warm, kind of like sound wave with a little bit more harmonic content pad. Right, like, you know, it's pretty much a sound wave or a triangle or something, but it's just a bit more harmonic content. It also gives me like an old video game kind of vibe too. I'm not really messing with any of the envelopes besides the first one, just to give it all a little bit of attack. Yeah, you can see the third one is up an octave. That's going into a reverb. So that's what really makes the sound. And the cool thing is the reverb has like this spin and this chorus on here. So it is kind of doing a bit of like pitch, you know, warble type of stuff. But it's also like a whole nother level of sound design to give it something that it doesn't have just straight out of the synth. Side chin. Alright, so this is a low pass filter, but I call it like the lo-fi filter. I've been showing you guys this, I'm pretty sure this is my first tutorial on YouTube 7 years ago, where you take a low pass filter, okay? I learned this from listening to lo-fi house music, which technically happened kind of before the sound that this song is part of, but it definitely has like a lot in this type of music. And obviously, like you see a normal low pass filter just cuts off the high end. But if you bring the resonance up a bit and then you like cut it right at like a certain point, which is not necessarily something I could tell you an exact number or a thing that you could do every time. You have to listen and you just go. Because what you're basically doing, all the resonance on a filter is, and obviously if you kind of know sound design, you know this, but if you don't, it's just turning up the volume a lot at that one frequency. So you cut off all the high end, and then right at the frequency where you cut off, there's like a huge boost. And it's obviously going to add like a very lo-fi kind of, that's basically what a lot of old like tape machines and analog gear does. You get even more juicy with it like that. But yeah, so this one wasn't as pronounced. High pass filter, then for the granulator layer, same MIDI. We're using the new Granulator 3, actually. I like it a lot. I've got this sample in there. Just a flute, but you can see, yeah, it's moving around, so it kind of becomes like a flute-esque sound rather than like a very obvious flute. And it also has that really 90s kind of like chord one sort of string flute sort of orchestra thing, right? We got a bit of reverb, side chin, and high pass. And again, it just adds this kind of like string rompler chord one kind of layer to the pads. So the last thing we got down here is our vocal chops. So yeah, this is something you hear in this track, and so I wanted to definitely show you guys how to do it. It's what they're doing is they're layering together stabs, or maybe it's just a stab that already sounded like that, and then I kind of ended up layering some to find like that. It's hard to say, right? Because a lot of this stuff is just like people kind of taking just audio or a little stab from something. What I was able to get close to it with was essentially taking 2 stabs. Because I could hear a chord and then I could hear a vocal. So I took, like I sampled that one out of this old kind of like hip hop sample CD thing, and then this. Right? So you put it, so it's like you're kind of getting both of them. And then also you can hear the vocal has a little bit of that tail, so then when you start to put some reverb on it, it's like the perfect amount of tail to kind of hit the reverb, right? So yeah, we got the reverb, then we're side chaining it, high pass, and then another one of those lo-fi filters. And these might seem kind of simple and dumb, but I think they add a lot to the overall track and just keeping it going. When I turn that off, it is very pretty to just hear the pads and stuff. But now listen to the energy when it keeps going. Oh. Like it definitely adds something. If this would be like the first half of the track, when you want the energy to rise, this will be the second half when that finally comes in. So yeah, that's me for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like this video as well as subscribe. And let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can get the full template at the top of the description on my website. Thanks for the support, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow with another video.